What's up, everybody? You're watching B-Boy 45, the Hospital's own TV and radio station. My name is Chris, hanging with you on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. And I think I've got my friend Maya on the line. Maya, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, Maya, it's always good to talk to you. But are we talking to somebody else today? Who do we got?
Yeah, Max Greenfield.
Oh, my goodness! Max Greenfield on Maya's latest news. Welcome, and Maya, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I can't tell you how excited I am to be talking to you right now. I've been excited for this all week, and you've been a dream interview of mine for the longest time. So thank you so much for calling in.
Oh no, this is so much pressure. Now I have to live up to it. Oof. I gotta give you all my good stuff. All right.
So my first question for you is, who or what inspired you to start acting?
Good question. Let's see. Well, I think I'd always been a creative kid. I was always like painting or trying to build something. I think typical studying was not for me, really. I was not a big fan of reading or doing math. So being an actor didn't really feel like a real thing that people did. I grew up in New York, which you would think you would have some sort of recognition of how acting and how theater and how films and TV were made, but I didn't at all. So it was never really a real thing for me until I moved out to Los Angeles, and I saw that people were working and how the industry worked a little bit, and I thought, this is something that I really would love to pursue and be a part of. And I didn't really necessarily know that I 100% wanted to be an actor, but the technical side of making a show or a movie felt way too complicated for me, and I thought, I think I can memorize lines.
Cool. So you played Schmidt in New Girl, and I love that show. What was the best part of being a part of such an amazing ensemble cast?
Oh, well, I mean, it was a dream come true. I had been getting close on a lot of jobs and shows, and none of them worked out, and I kept getting so close over and over and over again, and I sort of was at the point where I really was ready to give up on acting. And then New Girl came along, and Zooey Deschanel was already attached to the show, so she was already going to be in it, and she was a big movie star as far as I was concerned. And Liz Merriweather, who'd written the show, she was a big writer that everybody was really excited about. And so I thought it had all this going for it. There's no way they'll put me in it. So it took all the pressure out of the audition, because I never thought I would have any chance of actually doing it. And Liz, fell in love with what I did in the room. And the next thing you know, I was on a show. So I was just so grateful at that point to have a job. And it turned out to be such a spectacular job, and one that was, just exceeded every expectation and dream that I had ever had. So it really, that show, and being a part of it and being part of that cast and all the people who worked on it, it was a real dream.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So what is your best or funniest memory from filming?
Oh man, I always say, that show, it was a challenge. As much as amazing as it was also a challenge, because we shot a lot, and we would be shooting until 2, 3, 4 in the morning some nights, and so you lose your mind. There's a lot of stuff on that show where I watch it now and think, I don't remember shooting this at all. But I will say, and I always do say, that I laughed more and more deeply on that show and making that show than I will ever doing anything else in my entire life. Some of the stupid things that Jake Johnson, who plays Nick, and Damon and Lamorne would do would just still to this day when we get together, there's something that happens between us where one of us within the first 2 minutes of talking to one another will be just in tears crying.
Cool. Yeah, so The Neighborhood is one of my favorite shows, and it always makes me laugh and helps me take my mind off things. And congratulations on getting your season 4.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for more episodes. What has been your favorite episode to film?
It's a good question, and I'm liking that I can't really think of it because I've liked so many of them. I think I'll take the safe answer and say the pilot, just because I was really scared to do the pilot. The Neighborhood's different from New Girl in the sense that we shoot The Neighborhood in front of a studio audience. So there's a big audience. We do it at night. We haven't done it since COVID started. But usually we tape it in front of a live studio audience. And that was a much different experience for me. And it is a different experience when you're doing it. And I was scared. And being scared is a really good thing, and it really wakes you up. And after having been on New Girl for 7 years, you get into a rhythm and you get lazy. And you're like, today my job is to make Jake laugh or try to make Jake laugh. And you go, that's not really what your job is. And this was, I really had to sort of like pull together and come in and learn this new format and work with some really, really incredibly talented people. And Jimmy Burrows directed that pilot, who's directed the pilot of every major, multi-camera sitcom that you've ever loved. And so that was it was a very, very, very cool experience.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love every episode, but one of my favorites is the second episode in season 1.
Oh, yeah. Was that the washcloth?
Yeah, the one with the pipe.
Oh, yeah, the pipe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got so wet on that one, and usually I'm pretty good about, hey man, we're filming this. Whatever's happening. Like you're not going to complain about anything, and you're going to tough your way through it. And I was wet, and I was really wet for a while on that one. And I was like, hey man, can I go dry off?
Yeah, I actually when the show first premiered, so my sister and I were in sophomore year in high school, and that was just like, it was a very strange year. And there was one day that we actually, we had to go on secure perimeter, so nobody was allowed to leave. And my sister was in a different building, and I was in this place, I was in a building just full on panic attack. And I remember I just watched The Neighborhood to just take my mind off everything. And I just watching that, I just was like, okay, I actually felt like I could breathe again. So.
That's the best story. Hold on. So are you now a senior?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So are you? So do you? So I guess you'll graduate this year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You excited?
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's been such a weird high school experience because sophomore year was just very weird. Last year, the end of the year was weird, and then this year is weird. So
I honestly think, well, the truth of the matter is yes, these last few years have been especially weird.
Yeah.
But I suppose I could look back at many of the years of my life and explain them exactly the same and be like, yeah, I got out of college. That was a weird year. The one year I was in college, that was definitely a weird year. 23 through 26, super weird. I think it's all kind of weird. It's just sort of whatever perspective you're looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the point of that was just thank you, because that show has just helped me so much through so many things, all these weird years of high school, and so.
Well, that means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So you were in the second season of American Crime Story. What is the hardest part about telling a true story?
Well, that was a really cool one. It's a good question. Yeah. I think they're all different. Every story, whether it's true or not, or whoever's doing it, specifically if you're an actor, you're really looking at the people who are making it and going to them for any sort of advice or tone or how they want to handle certain things that actually really did happen. So for that one in particular, I don't think anyone really had any picture of the guy. I didn't know much about him. And I think in terms of the overall story that we were telling, it wasn't really important who this guy was. It was what he sort of meant to the time period and what he meant to the bigger story that we were telling. So we took, I don't know if they were liberties, but they were more, we just made choices on that behalf or on the story's behalf. And I think that's how we handled that particular situation. And I was really pleased with how it came out. And I think we were all really happy. But I think in general, it always differs. It's whoever is really telling the story and how they want to tell it.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that. There was a class I took last year, and we watched the first season of that in the class. Just like I don't even remember why. It was just it was street law, and so it was kind of like looking at how a real cases handled, and so then I watched all of it after that.
I thought that for the first both seasons, but that first season was so incredible and so well done. I was very thrilled and honored when they asked me to be in the second season of that, and I really wanted to be in it. And so to get to play that role in that second, which was such a different story, was really exciting.
Cool. Yeah. So you've been in so many different things. Is there a character that you've related to the most?
There's a lot of them, and I hope I relate to all of them. Oh man, I mean, probably Schmidt, just because I played it for so long, and so much of me ended up in that character. I think that's what happens to some degree, especially when you're on a TV show that runs for a long time. The writers spend time with you, and they realize, oh, he's crazy like this. Let's write it, and they put it in. Um, so it becomes sort of like you, on some level, relate to the character, and then the writers then start relating to you and writing to you, and you go, where this is all blending together. I don't know what's real.
um, how did you get involved with the movie Promising Young Woman?
Oh, have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, I'd gotten a call about it pretty early on, and they wanted me to audition for it. I think originally for the role that Bo Burnham played, and I was working, and I couldn't make it in, and they cast Bo, and I was like, I really like Bo. I thought it was over, and I didn't think much of it. And then they called and said, Emerald Fennell, who wrote and was directing it, they said she wants to talk to you about playing this role that comes. I won't spoil anything, but it's one of the roles in the movie, and a different role. And I said, yeah, sure. And I spoke to Emerald, and she was so incredible on the phone, and you could tell, oh, this is someone who has a very specific vision, who has thought about every piece of this movie, and who really, is trying to create a very interesting, exciting tone. And at that point, I was like, please put me in this movie. And then we went off and did it, and it was like, a couple days on set. And then I'm such a small part of the movie, to then get to see the movie and to see what they had done for, a month and a half before I had showed up was really cool. And she, Carrie's such an incredible actor. And I had sort of known that already, but to really discover Emerald in this way, and what a talented filmmaker she is, was very exciting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I had been talking about the movie on my show for like months before it came out. And the reason I found out about the movie was because I heard that you were in it.
And then you watched it and you were like, no!
Yeah, I was like, where is he?
And then I come up at the end and you go, no!
Yeah. What inspired you to write your book? I don't want to read this book.
Oh, I can't wait for you to see. I'm going to send you a copy. Yeah, so we were doing, it happened sort of last year, right after we got put into lockdown in LA because of the pandemic. And they had closed schools, and we were sort of immediately, my daughter, who's now 11, and she at the time was in 4th grade, was now doing 4th grade in, the room that's off of our laundry room. And I was supposed to teach her this curriculum that they would send home. And it was so jarring and terrifying. And the two of us just looking at one another, I was not a very good student. And it brought up a lot of real feelings. And so, we documented it. We put a bunch of stuff up on Instagram, and we tried to have fun with it and do some funny bits with it. But at the same time, it really did bring me back to 4th grade and the years prior to that, where, you're learning how to read, and you're expected to enjoy it in a way that I think is unrealistic for certain kids. And if you're not a great reader, or if you don't take to it immediately, like maybe some of the other kids or the teachers expect you to, you're going to feel really bad about yourself. And then I think I was one of those people, and I thought, well, okay, this is for them and I can't do this. And you start to feel like, you're stupid. And so I wanted to write a book that sort of gets ahead of that idea, and that kids can have to read when they're starting to learn to read. And it takes some of the pressure off of them. And it's a book about not wanting to read.
So, what song would you want playing to announce your entrance into a room?
Very good.
Thank you.
Do you have an answer to that question for you?
I don't know. I might.
I'll preface it by saying that it certainly would change with my moods. But if I only had to pick one, I think I'd go for the crowd pleaser. And I would do from New Girl, We Built This City. And I think it's great. I mean, I played in some celebrity all-star softball game. It was at the All-Star game in Cleveland 2 years ago. And they were like, what song do you want us to play when you get up to the plate? Like, what's your walk-on song? And I thought, yeah, we got to pick that one. And it worked out. It was great. I got pumped up. I was ready to go.
Cool. Yeah. The two artists I always have on repeat are Ben Platt and Asher Angel. And so I think one of their songs would be.
Ben Platt has what continues to be a shockingly good voice.
Yeah.
He's very unassuming, and he sings on different levels. There's like one time, like sometimes he's just like, oh, okay, he's got a nice voice. And then he hits a note and you go, dear God.
Yeah.
I feel very jealous. I'm very jealous of Ben Platt's voice. I don't know what I can say. Has he been on the show?
No.
You gotta get him. Lovely, lovely man.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm obsessed with all of his music, and his concert movie on Netflix I've seen so many times.
I've seen a piece of that, and you're like, he's such a good. It's really annoying. He's got such a good voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also that was like it came out at like kind of a few months into quarantine, and so I was like, that was definitely one of the things I always like. I'd wake up, my mind would start racing. I'm like, okay, it was either that or The Neighborhood that I'd watch to be like, okay, I'm okay, I can breathe, I can.
Everything's okay. I'm safe. Everything's okay. Yeah, believe me, I have those moments too, but I have to actually say the words. There aren't many other things that are going to calm me down. You're safe. Everything's okay. Look, your feet are on the ground. Everything's okay. Just breathe.
Yeah. Sometimes even if I say that to myself, like, it doesn't work, so then my mom has to say it to me.
Oh, if somebody else says it to me, it'll never work. It needs to come from deep within where I really believe it. And I go, okay, yes, I was wrong. I'm not imploding.
Yeah. So, what personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
All of them. I probably I have a lot of people refer to me as like a dog, and like a puppy dog, and I get excited really easy, And I would say, and I've curbed it to some degree. And the fact that I have kids has been really helpful because I'm exhausted all the time. So my level of excitement can only reach such a place. Um, but yeah, I'll tend to get a little bit excited and get ahead of myself. And that's not a direction that is, I found myself in trouble because of that sometimes. I go, oh man, I went too fast. I got too excited. It was too big.
Who would play you in a movie of your life?
Oh, I mean, I'd have to cast me. I don't know who could do it better. No, actually, there's a lot of people who could do it better. Who would I pick? Maybe Tony Shalhoub.
Oh, cool.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when you're having a bad day, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
Depends. It depends why I'm defining it as bad. So, you know, if I'm saying that it's bad because something bad has happened, I try to really look to see and figure out if I can have a different perspective on it and see if maybe it's not such a bad thing. Or sometimes I go, look, I don't know if this is a bad thing or a good thing. That's really sort of this is where I'm going these days with it. You know, I try to go with the idea that who am I to know what's good and bad? And it is what it is. And I can only make it worse, or I can accept it and try to enjoy what's available to me, because there's usually a lot of good to be found if you just allow yourself to find it.
Yeah. My last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Real life superhero. I don't know. Who do you think is? Who do you think's one?
I think my mom and my sister, they're just my best friends. And we're all just like a little unit. And yeah, I think I always joke with them that I tell them, I'm like, okay, this person is my real life superhero. I won't feed your egos. I won't.
I don't know. I mean, I think I think I can look at almost anybody and see a real life superhero, dependent on the day. I think it goes back a little bit to what we were just talking about, where, you know, the people who are able to find the good in what looks very clearly like the bad, those people are superheroes. And I think it's nice every once in a while when I'm capable of doing that, and maybe have a perspective on myself outside of that moment where I go, I mean, I'm capable of being a superhero. You know? To know that you really do have those powers is impressive. You know, I mean, I can't fly. I don't have X-ray vision, but like, you know, I can change my perspective on a certain situation, and I can see the good, and I can totally flip how I'm feeling about something.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I just wanna say that I joke with my mom and my sister, but then I always let them know that they are.
Have to.
So, yeah. So I just want to say, I don't just like joke with them and say, no, I actually tell them that they are my real life superheroes.
But save it for the moments where it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I can't believe this is actually happening right now. I just want to keep talking to you.
Well, can we do it again?
Yeah.
All right. You let me know. We now have each other's information. Let me know. We'll do it again.
Okay.
I'm around.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Max, thanks for making the time
Yeah,
today. So appreciate it. Oh,
Yeah.
Maya, what were you going to say?
Thank you. Oh, I was just gonna say, I've been talking to a friend all week about this interview, and like he loves New Girl too. So
What's his name?
Well, okay, so his name is David, but I call him Mr. Knuckle because he was my teacher last year. So
Well, Mr. Knuckle really blew it and couldn't join the Zoom.
yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Knuckle.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Max, thanks again. Have an awesome rest of your day. And if you're ever in Denver and, things get normal again someday, you have a standing invitation to come hang out with us in the Seacrest studio.
That'd be awesome. Thank you guys so much. And Maya, please reach out. I'll come back whenever you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, guys. This was great.
Bye.